And so the game's been out for about a month and a half maybe, and we got a lot of views. We got featured by Apple pretty much all over the world, and I think within like the first week we had over 1 million downloads, which is awesome.
So did you guys have like a master plan for getting featured and stuff like that? I mean, did that happen to you, or did you like sort of take steps to make it happen?
A bit of both. Like we got fortunate enough to meet people from the Brazilian App Store here in Brazil, and so we sort of fostered a relationship with the App Store director, the Brazilian App Store director. And he kind of guided us through maybe the last quarter of development, and we were just kind of talking to him, and he was sort of giving us some ideas and some goals. Like he set out the March deadline. He's like, this is a good spot for you guys to launch, and he could feature it in Brazil, but he could also ask everybody else to try to feature it. But then it's up to every App Store director. But it worked out, so I think we made it. We were for a few days, right? It's definitely not something that stabilizes that way, but we were like the 60th most downloaded app globally, I think.
I think when it seems really obvious that when a game is well done, very tight, the concept is very clean, stuff like that, they don't have any problem featuring those apps. It's just a matter of...
Yeah, we worked a lot on it. We put a lot of polish in. David did an awesome job with the art. It looks great.
So let's talk about that for just a minute. I mean, like I said before, it seems like it almost plays like a cartoon, and when there's all these little fine details, like when one of the things is when the main character moves over on top of a dirt pile, that dirt pile gives away a little bit. It changes shape, like he's standing on it now, so he's squishing it down. So can you talk about those types of details? I mean, was that just iteration or like inspiration, or how did you guys come up with that?
I think it's definitely a bit of both. It was a passion project for us, so we were always looking to kind of fill it with a lot of love and all the details. Specifically the dirt was Davi's idea to make it squash and bounce when you got off of it. It was funny because we were kind of reskinning some of the art, so we had just made changes to the basic tile, which is the dirt tile. And then as part of the redesign, as he was redrawing the tile, he saw an opportunity to do this. And at first I was like, oh, it's just extra sprite frames and it's something, so it doesn't really impact the game design, so why are we doing it, right? But in the end, everybody notices it, and it's crazy how little details like that really kind of show through,
Yeah, I almost feel it sounds silly, but you almost feel more endeared to the character, right? Because I don't know, it just has a more natural, organic, tactile kind of feel to it, and you just feel like it makes sense. Whereas if it wasn't there, I'm not sure that I'd be able to identify it and say, oh, look, the ground didn't move. But yeah, when it's there, then you're like, oh, he feels like a real little character. He feels like, I don't know, he feels real,
Yeah, absolutely. I think when everything comes together, you get a lot of little things that give you a bit of credibility, right, to what you're looking at and what you're seeing. So there's a lot of like little effects and little things the creatures do, and I think they all kind of add up, and it really sells everything, right?
So, you said you worked in the games industry before Davi did the artwork. I mean, was it hard to collaborate in that way? I mean, how do you give us some insight as to team-wise? How do you guys kind of share your ideas and then execute on them?
So, I guess, just to give a bit of context, we actually work from different cities. The studio was founded in the city I'm in, but we're both co-owners, and he works from another city, so we're always on Skype. We're always using either TeamViewer or Skype to share screens, and most of our work is done over the internet. Every once in a while, we'll take a trip to each other's cities and sort of hammer down and do like a sprint or do like get a milestone done, and then we'll come back and sort of rest it off. But that's pretty much how we work, and I think that we just have really good chemistry for working. I think I think what ends up happening usually is we try to approach it from a game design first kind of point of view, and so I'll be leading that, but more in the form of asking trying to ask the right questions and trying to brainstorm in the right direction, and then once we have some ideas that we both like, then Davi will kind of go out and do the initial art direction pass and draw things up, and then I'll come in. My background's in art as well. I was actually graduated with a BFA in digital arts, and so I have a lot of that foundation of fine arts and all that I can help to kind of polish Davi's work, and so we keep going back and forth until we're both kind of happy with where it's at.
Okay, yeah, because that's good that you said that, because generally the programmer doesn't know how to draw, and the artist doesn't know how to program. So the fact
Can I
that
ask a question, Daniel?
Yeah.
You have so smooth animation. Have you been using plain sprite sheets, or have you been developing something special for this case? Like, do you have really large sprite sheets, or you use something clever?
Yeah, no, nothing clever, unfortunately. The best of what we do, I guess, is to make sure that we compact everything that we can possibly use on that screen into the fewest number of sprite sheets. That way, the load time might be a little more, but at least the draw calls are fast and things stay light. But we do use mega big sprite sheets. It's part of the reason why our game is over 100 megabytes, unfortunately, and you can't download it off of Wi-Fi. But we're looking to change that. So part of our work right now is actually changing that. And so we're using Spine, for example, and we're trying to transfer a lot of the animations out of sprite sheets into Spine data.
Your game reminds me of another game that works on looking like a cartoon. It's Cuphead. Do you know it?
Which one? Sorry?
It's called Cuphead.
No, I don't. I'm gonna have to write it down. Take a look after.
Okay.
Cup as in like a cup?
Like a cup.
Or,
yes.
Yeah.
Cuphead. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, we'll definitely have to check that out. Do you know who developed that?
No, it's a project that has been kickstarted some time ago. I think it's on Steam, or it will be on Steam.
Okay.
So here's a sample of our sprite sheet, the character. This is how it looks. I don't know if you can see my screen.
Oh, hold on. Let me go. Hold on. Let me highlight that. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, just answering your question. This is how a sprite sheet looks. This is how we have all the animation of a single character on a sprite sheet looking like this. I don't know if you can see my.
Yeah, in this case, there are some moments in the game where the character is double-sized, usually for HUD moments. So, like in the outfit store or in the victory screen. So, this sheet has a double-sized character just for those screens. So that way we can swap out, just kind of dump one sheet when we're not using it anymore and use the other.
Awesome.
Did you do anything special or interesting to manage your video memory? Like what sheets were loaded at any particular time?
Just a lot of, I did have a little module that, would sort of create references to them and keep track of how many different, places we're using that sprite sheet and then delete it when there was none.
So you did do some management to make sure that you didn't have any dangling references.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, that was pretty big to us, and we can still see. That's something that we're trying to work on, because it seems like when people have a lot of other apps open, they could reach a potential moment in the game where it hangs because it doesn't have enough virtual memory. So. So that's one of the challenges that we undertook, because it's only Davi and I. We developed everything, and so we kind of approached it in the easiest way possible and try to get it done first. And now we're kind of going around and polishing things.
Do you plan on go on Android?
Yeah. So when we met the guy from Apple, he was sort of just asking questions about what the game was, and one of the things he said was, is it exclusive? And so, obviously we wanted to make a friend here, and so we said, yeah, temporary time, and so that I think maybe helped us get a feature.